This video is sponsored by PTCGLstore.com, a great place for you to buy Pokemon TCG code cards. Please remember to use my code KNIGHT22 at checkout so that you can get a 5% discount. Before going into the video, please take a second to click that like button, and we're on the road to getting 9,000 subscribers to this channel, so please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you all so much for all of your support, and I hope you guys are enjoying the content I put out in this channel. In today's video, I'll be showcasing Maushold EX from the Paradox Rift expansion set. Maushold EX has a very unique ability called Solidarity. Every time your opponent's Pokemon attacks and damages this Pokemon while it's in the active spot, you put 3 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon for each Tandemaus, Maushold, or even Maushold EX you have in play. So if you have 6 of any of these mice in play, this ability can deal as much as 18 damage counters or 180 damage to the attacking Pokemon. While you can only have 4 Tandemaus in your deck, it is possible to have 6 Maushold lines in play. You can do this with the help of Zoroark that has the Phantom Transformation ability. This allows you to switch this Pokemon with a Stage 1 Pokemon card in your discard pile. So even after you set up 4 basic Tandemaus in play, you can also transform into 2 Maushold EX without evolving it from its basic stage. Although I don't think this is the most optimal approach because you'll really want to set up your consistency engine like Bibarel, which will take up room in your bench. In this build, I have sacrificed power to accommodate for more consistency, so unfortunately I will not be able to utilize the maximum effect of this ability, but it can still pack a punch. And speaking of punches, I have included a few copies of the Vengeful Punch tool card. If your Pokemon with this equipped is knocked out by an attack damage, you put 4 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. This just amplifies the effect of Maushold EX's ability by adding that 4 extra damage counters to its attacker. Maushold EX also has the attack Nom 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 Incisors. For 2 colorless energies, this attack deals 120 damage, and then you also draw 2 cards. Just be careful not to deck out with this attack. You can also easily power up this attack with the double turbo energy, but it will reduce your attack by 20 damage, and unfortunately the damage output of this attack is very underwhelming, so you really have to rely on its ability to add up damage to your opponent's Pokemon. And to be honest with you, it's really difficult to win games with just Maushold EX, so I brought along other Pokemon to help. First is this Mimikyu with a Safeguard ability, so that we can block any attack damage from any EX or V Pokemon. And we can also use its attack Ghost Eye, which puts 7 damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon. Next is Flapple, more for its acidic mucus attack. For just 1 colorless energy, it can deal 50 damage for each Pokemon your opponent has with abilities on them. And finally, I have Slowbro, more for its Twilight Inspiration attack. For 2 colorless energies, if your opponent has exactly 1 prize card remaining, you can just take 2 of your prize cards. As for the other cards worth noting, I have the Worker Support card. This discards any stadium that is in play, and then you draw 3 cards. I have this just in case your opponent uses Path to the Peak Stadium, because unfortunately it can turn off Maushold EX's ability. I also have Rigid Band tool card. This decreases the damage your Stage 1 Pokemon receives by 30 damage. Depending on the circumstance, there are those matchups where this can help Maushold EX to survive some attacks. Next is Zinnia's Resolve. You have to discard 2 cards from your hand to use this, and when you do, you can draw cards equal to the number of Pokemon your opponent has in play. This can help you discard Stage 1 Pokemon cards to set up for Zoroark. Next, I also have Roseanne's Backup. With this, you can recover 1 Pokemon, 1 Stadium, 1 Tool card, and 1 Energy from your discard pile to your deck. And finally, I also have a couple of Energy Lotto because we have so little energies in this deck. This will allow you to look at the top 7 cards of your deck, and if you see any energies, you can put 1 of them in your hand. Unfortunately, the difficulty level of making Maushold EX work is really high, especially there are just way too many cards that can counter the overall strategy for its card design. But despite its difficulty, you can win some games given that your setup is perfect and that you can get the correct sequence for your attacks. Honestly, my only goal with this build was to win a few games against high tier builds, and thankfully I actually managed to get a few. Anyways, that's pretty much it. You can find the complete deck list in the description below. And now please enjoy the following gameplay videos showcasing Maushold EX. Alright, so in this matchup, my opponent is actually going first. We're gonna start with the Tandemaus in the active spot. They have a Mew and a Charmander. Okay, we're going against Charizard EX with Entei V. This is going to be pretty tough. Charizard EX has a ton of HP. I don't know how we're gonna beat it. But NTV is beatable. Because if we can set up a bunch of Tandemouse and Maushold EX, we can actually put some damage with Solidarity and then just knock it out. And this is actually an ability dependent build, so I think Flapple is going to be very good in this matchup. And I'm just going to go ahead and discard... no, let's just discard these two, because I can actually transform into those with my Zoroark. So that's going to put an additional Maushold EX in play. I'll just get a Zorua just to get it ready, because Tandemouse is easy to put in the bench, but getting those Maushold EX in play is a little bit different because it takes about 2 turns. So we're just going to use Judge. Hopefully that will actually disrupt my opponent's hand if they don't get anything to evolve into their Charizard EX or Pidgeot. We should be okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and use Damage Rush, just because it's the only move we can do right now. And we got 2 heads, but because Double Turbo Energy reduces our attack by 20, it actually deals no damage. So let's see what we can get here. So I've seen a lot of builds with this Maushold EX that also has the other Maushold. So I have this one with the 70 damage per Maushold you have in play, not counting the Maushold EX, but I'm still thinking about whether or not to include it in this deck, because if you want to play it, you'd rather just play it on its own, because it's a single price, you lose 1 price and then you deal a lot of damage. As long as you can keep up your Maushold line, it's actually pretty strong, you know. But we're here to showcase our Maushold EX. So I'm still debating whether or not to keep this in the deck. But anyways, my opponent has 2 Charmanders in their board, and thankfully they were not able to set up anything. We got Bib Barrel from our top deck. What are the chances of that, guys? Well, we got it. Let's go ahead and use Industrious Incisors for 3. We got a Maushold EX from our top deck, which is pretty insane. And a Zoroark. Very nice. Let's just go ahead and draw 3. We got 2 Double Turbo Energies and Manaphy. So we're doing great so far. We can take a knockout against this Mew. And after 1 knockout, I don't think their Charizard EX can deal a knockout blow, because they can only deal 180 base damage. 180 plus, what is that? You add 30 for each prize your opponent took. So 210 damage. We will survive an attack. So Maushold EX can actually tank a hit against a Charizard EX attack. As long as we don't get far ahead in the price exchange, we should be able to survive here. There's a Forest Seal Stone. I think they may have all of the components. There's the Ultra Ball. They have Rare Candy. They can evolve into a Charizard EX, and they can attack this turn. Unfortunately, with no other mice in our board, Solidarity will only deal 30 damage once they attack with their Charizard. They're gonna evolve into a Pidgeot EX for now. With a quick search ability, they can just get any 1 card from their deck. Very, very powerful ability. And they still have the Forest Seal Stone, so they can get 2 cards from their deck, actually. There's the Rare Candy. There's the Charizard EX. It's going to use its Infernal Rain ability, allowing them to search their deck for 3 basic Fire Energy cards and then attach them to their Pokemon in any way they like. So 2 to their Charizard EX and 1 probably to their other Charmander or their NTV. Okay. Now they have 2 fully energized Pokemon to attack. And like I said, we should be able to survive an attack here. But before they do that, they're going to use Forest Seal Stone to find one card from their deck that's gonna use up their V-Star power attack, and they actually have Defiance Band, and that's gonna increase their damage output, allowing them to knock out our Maushold EX because they were behind in prizes after we took that Mew. So they actually got a knockout, dude. That is not good. I mean, we have Zoroark and we have Rigid Band. I could actually survive an attack. So let's just go ahead and put our Zoroark in the active spot. That's the only thing we can put in the active anyways. Let's build up our Tandem Mouse. I mean, Mimikyu is actually pretty good in this matchup too. But let me use Level Ball to get Tandem Mouse and build up our bench. And we're just gonna Phantom transform into Maushold EX. I mean, Flapple is good too. Right now we're dealing, what, 200 damage, but we're gonna keep going with Maushold EX, man. This is the start of the show, so we're gonna do our best to play with this. And gonna use Zinnia's Resolve to draw 5. And there it is. There's the Tandem Mouse family. We are doing great. And with this Hisuian Heavy Ball, we have Zorua. However, we have Slowbro prized, and that could play a big part in this matchup if we get behind in the prize exchange. So let me just use Industrious Incisors. Battle VIP Pass is too late, but we can use it to discard one card using our Ultra Ball. And for now, I'm just going to use Num 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 Incisors, dealing 100 damage to Charizard EX. And we're 100 damage closer to knocking it out. It just, Maushold EX is so weak. I don't know why they designed it. I mean, I know why. I mean, like I said, in the game, right? Scarlet and Violet game, it is one of those beginner Pokemon. It's like Pidgey or Rattata, and they're just really weak. But man, Maushold EX, why you gotta be so weak? But in combination with its ability, as long as the ability works, and like I said, if you're going against a straightforward attacker, that ability actually works pretty well. And with the this Punch Tool card, that adds 4 damage counters to that ability, and you can stack a lot of damage counters. But they have Lost Vacuum, and they can discard one of our tool cards. There goes our Vengeful Punch tool card in the Lost Zone, never to be recovered ever again. And that's gonna decrease the damage counter their Charizard EX receives. So Solidarity deals 120. That actually could have knocked it out. That extra 4 damage from that Vengeful Punch could have knocked it out. But unfortunately, they had the Lost Vacuum. Dude, that was pretty close. Well, we can knock it out now, but it is still pretty dangerous here because they have Entei and another Charizard on the way. They have Charmeleon set up already. So with this Ultra Ball, I'll just go ahead and he gets Zoroark too. Can transform into my Flapple if I need to, but we're gonna hold our ground with Maushold EX, right? We have one with the Rigid Band, so we have higher defense, and there, dude, that Energy Lotto is really great in this deck. So before I didn't use Energy Lotto, and I just always miss that energy. So having 2 in the deck is actually really helpful. All right, so we're gonna go with this Maushold EX with the Rigid Band. They don't have Charizard EX set up yet, so the next best attacker they have is Entei. I'll just get Zoroark with this Ultra Ball to evolve, and we'll get that lineup of Flapple. I can transform into Flapple next turn and deal a lot of damage if we need to. And we're just gonna use Num 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 Incisors. Num Num Num. For a knockout against this Charizard EX, getting us 2 more prizes. So 3 more prizes to go. We got a Slowbro. Alright, that is pretty awesome. So now, once they attack with this NTV, that's gonna get 120 damage. NTV has a lot of HP. Might have to destroy it with boss's orders. Okay. They're going to target our other Maushold EX, getting 2 more prizes, and then all they have to do is take care of our last Maushold EX for 2 prizes, and that will win them this game. Another Charmander being set up. So let's see what's the next plan here. That's going to damage them 120. So at least it is something, right? And with three Pokemon with abilities, we can deal 150 damage. Yeah, that's enough to knock out this NTV. So if we transform with our Zoroark into Flapple, we can deal 150 damage to this NTV. That's gonna get us 2 prizes. And unfortunately, we can't set up our another Zoroark line. Can try. We just use Judge. Why not? I just don't want them to get boss orders. I mean, they have Pidgeot EX, and then all they have to do is evolve into a Charizard EX. But if they don't have that, do we get heads? All right, cool. We don't have a lineup of Zoroark. What is this? I should have actually used that Super Rod, but we're gonna go with Mimikyu. I don't want to put it into play because now we won't have room for Zoroark if we need to put it into play. So, Acidic Mucus will deal 130. Thankfully, it's enough to get a knockout because, again, this double turbo energy is reducing our attack. We get 2 prizes, and we are 1 prize away from winning this game. I guess our win condition is to just attack with Flapple and get their Charmeleon or Charmander, knock it out. There's the evolution for Charizard EX. Why did they evolve the one on the bench? Wait, I mean, if they have a switch, I guess they could do that. Switch out and just get a boss orders with Pidgeot EX, knock out our Maushold EX, and then win this game. Right? Because they're dealing 330 damage at this point. That's more than enough to knock out our Maushold EX. There's Mesagoza. They probably have another Charizard EX. No, a Radiant Charizard. Okay. Well, it's either they have it or they don't. Pidgeot EX can just search for that. Boss orders. Go for our Maushold EX. Retreat their Charmeleon into Charizard EX for a knockout. There's the escape rope. But you know what? We can actually just sacrifice our Tandemaus. They need a boss. Because they're only taking 1 prize. They need 2 more prizes. They need to target our Maushold EX to win this one. It's either they have it or they don't. I don't know. My opponent probably made a mistake there. And there's the Arvin. Okay. That's it. That means they don't have a boss's orders. Or if they have counter catcher, oh, it's a lost vacuum, and they're just gonna attack. 330 damage. I think we got this. We can just use boss orders to boss one of their Pokemon in the bench. We can actually knock out. We're dealing 200 damage right now. I'm just gonna go against this Charmeleon. Go for a knockout with this Flapple to win us this game. Alright, thanks to Flapple, we actually did it, but thanks also to our Maushold EX, which is pretty awesome, dude. Alright, I will take that win. Not too bad against Charizard EX. Good game. Alright, so my opponent won the coin flip, and they've decided to go second. And judging from the sleeves and everything, it is a dark type build. If I had to guess, this is a Roaring Moon EX matchup, and they like to go second You have the potential to fully energize Roaring Moon EX and start knocking things out. For now, we have Artisan, and the first thing we have to do is set up our draw engine. So we're gonna get a Bidoof and evolve into a Barrel next turn. And since we have Ultra Ball, I might as well set up Tandemaus. That way we can evolve into a Maushold EX going into our second turn. And I'll just sacrifice those two. Get a Tandemaus. I really like this Tandemaus because it has free retreats. But if in fact we are going against Roaring Moon EX, I think Mimikyu would be a better Pokemon to set up. Because the second attack can't really hurt Mimikyu thanks to its Safeguard ability. So they'll be forced to use the instant knockout with Roaring Moon EX. And that's actually going to weaken their Pokemon because that will deal 200 damage to their attacker. And sure enough, this is a Roaring Moon EX matchup. Okay. And there's a Squawkabilly EX, which will allow them to draw a lot of cards going into their first turn, and that will also discard maybe energies, and that will help them to use those dark patches to accelerate onto their Roaring Moon EX. Just a very powerful deck from Paradox Rift set. And that's why Mimikyu is very, very good in the meta right now. There's a lot of EX and strong V Pokemon to contend with, and we need all these supporting Pokemon or secondary attacker in this Maushold EX, because it's just really difficult to win with Maushold EX, you know? Especially if you go against Iron Valiant, you're pretty much dead, and you should just concede at that point, because we have a lot of Tandemaus that have 30 HP and 40 at most, but I chose the one with the free retreats. But Maushold EX also has very low HP, 230. Just so many Pokemon cards that can just one-hit knock it out. And we have really low attack damage output. It really has nothing to show for it. It's just a really weak Pokemon in general. Alright, so my opponent will put a Town Store in play, bumping out our Artisan. And there's the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule, adding 60 more HP to their Roaring Moon EX. And even if we power up Mimikyu, we can deal 7 damage counters to it. And even if they use the instant knockout, we will not be able to... It will not get knocked out. We'll have remaining HP. But we did get a basic energy to power up Mimikyu's attack, so I'll just go with that. And I'll use Industrious Incisors to draw 3. Okay, we have Level Ball. Might as well use this up to get Tandemaus. And then attach Vengeful Punch. And let me use Energy Lotto. We got another basic energy. So now we can fully energize our Mimikyu. And I'm just going to end my turn. If anything, my opponent can fully energize their Roaring Moon and knock out our Zorua. That's going to get them their first prize. And judging from matchups like these, Maushold EX can actually hold up or put up a good fight if it is against a straightforward attacking builds. But nothing against like shenanigans like Iron Valiant EX. This build will definitely fail against that. And even Iron Hands, if they can knock out Tandemaus, like 3 of those, they pretty much win with 3 knockouts. So yeah, I mean, basing it off of the character, the Pokemon, they're just little tiny Pokemon. They're little mice, you know. So you can't give a little mouse like 100 HP for basic, you know. Maybe it's possible, but that's all they can give it, 30 or 40 HP. And I mean, if you love Maushold, then you got an EX to go along with it. So my opponent will set up a Radiant Greninja, and this is actually pretty scary because if they play water energies in this deck, they can actually use Radiant Greninja to deal double knockout against our Pokemon, even against our Mimikyu. So we kind of have to watch out for that. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. And they still haven't been able to fully energize their Roaring Moon EX. Well, that's okay with me. I don't feel like I need to use any of those tool cards right now. So let me just energize my Mimikyu and then use Mesagoza here. Maybe we can get another Tandemaus set up. Oh, we got Tails. Alright, and I'll just draw 3 cards with Bibarel. Alright, we got 1 Tandemaus and then Zinnia's Resolve. Okay. Let me just sacrifice these because we need to finish up our setup here. Okay, we have Ultra Ball, Zoroark, but we don't have any Pokemon to transform into just yet, so let me get rid of Judge and these. And then what I could do is just get Flapple discarded by using Ultra Ball. And then, I mean, we don't have any energies yet. No, I'll keep Super Rod. I'll discard these 2. Then I can use Super Rod to just recover it if I need to. And I'll need that to probably recover my Tandemaus, because otherwise our ability, Solidarity ability, will not have any effect if we don't have any mouses or mice in play. So I'm just gonna end my turn here. At least we have potential to deal some big damage, because if we get an energy transform into Flapple, we can deal as much as 200 damage right now, because they have 4 Pokemon with abilities on them. At least we're hitting for a huge amount of damage. Alright, so there's the fully energized Roaring Moon. Can they get this Mew out of the active spot and start knocking out our Pokemon? They got heads from our Mesagoza. They can get another Pokemon from their deck. Another Roaring Moon, yes, very typical, of course. You have to set up at least 2 for that continuous attack, of course. They got Earthen Vessel. You discard 1 card from your hand and then you can get 2 basic energies from your deck. Alright, there's the 2 dark energies. I'm surprised they haven't played Professor Sada's Vitality yet. They have a pretty slow setup here, which is actually good for us, because now we can set up our board as well. And then all we have to do is kind of worry about sequencing, because we don't want to just put out a Maushold EX in play. So if we do that, they can just instantly knock it out. We got a Maushold EX from our top deck though, so let's see if I can get a Zoroark with this Mesagoza. Unfortunately, we did not. I'll just evolve into Maushold EX. I just want to thin out my hand. I really don't have any other choice here, and we got double Turbo Energy and a boss's orders. Okay. I could use Iono. Maybe switch out my Zorua. I'll just take a chance. Let's go ahead and use Iono. Draw 6. And nothing. Okay. Well, we got Zoroark and a double Turbo Energy. I mean, I'm still knocking out this Mew. I could just put double Turbo Energy and knock it out, I guess. There's really no point in me transforming and then they're just gonna knock it out anyways. Yeah, I'll just attack. Night Days will deal 100 damage to Mew. We are hitting for weakness. And that's gonna get us our first prize. Alright, getting ahead in the price exchange might not be too bad, actually. Hopefully my opponent doesn't have any boss orders and then just instantly knock out our Maushold EX. So the Frenzied Gouging actually is an effect of an attack. So if they just boss and instantly knock out our Maushold EX, it's not gonna get hurt by our ability. Because Maushold EX, its ability, Solidarity, requires that it get damaged from an attack. So let's hope that my opponent doesn't have any boss orders. Most likely they're just gonna use Calamity Storm. And since they already have their board fully set up, I don't think they need any other Pokemon. But there's the boss's orders. It is an imminent demise for our Maushold EX. Thankfully, Maushold EX actually has 230 HP, so they can't really knock us out. And they're just gonna use Calamity Storm, dealing 220 damage. And Solidarity will take effect. Alright. They didn't go for that instant knockout. So let's see. 230 HP. We're not dealing enough damage, even with Flapple. And all we can deal is 100 damage, even if we power up this Maushold EX. I mean, let's go ahead and let me just draw in 2 more cards here. We get 6 with Zinnia's Resolve. Alright. Heavy Ball. We don't have any energies to attack. I could just retreat. We got Tandemaus, thankfully, with this Hisuian Heavy Ball, so we can actually have a full line of Tandemaus. And even if I transform, I will lose this energy. So what I'm gonna do is just attack for 50. That will put it within range where if it uses its instant knockout, it will die. So we're just gonna go with that. I'm just using every thing in my arsenal to actually get ahead in this matchup here. I'm fairly surprised that my opponent is not able to energize their other Roaring Moon EX already. Alright, Calamity Storm incoming for 220 damage. They needed to use that because 100 damage is not knocking out Zoroark. They needed more by discarding the Stadium card. And we got double Turbo Energy from our top deck. Alright. I could just go ahead and attack this Roaring Moon EX, deal damage to it, and then even if they use Calamity Storm, either way, this Roaring Moon EX will get knocked out. I'm just gonna go ahead and use Arven, get Super Rod and Vengeful Punch, and start setting up my other Tandemaus, and then I'll go ahead and just recover all of my Zoroark line from the discard pile. And I'll just use Nom 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 Incisors, dealing 100 damage to their Roaring Moon EX. We got double Turbo Energy from that 2-card draw. And we have Boss's Orders. Okay, so either way, with 3 mouse Pokemon, I don't know how to say. So we have 1 Maushold EX and 2 Tandemaus. That's 3 times 3. That's 90 damage to their Roaring Moon EX if they use Calamity Storm. And the Vengeful Punch will give an additional 4 damage counters to their attacker. Otherwise, if they use Frenzied Gouging, that will kill their Roaring Moon EX too, because it deals 200 damage. And there's the Calamity Storm, and they will receive 90 plus 40 damage. And that's gonna give a total of 340 damage to the Roaring Moon EX, knocking it out, getting us 2 prizes. So it's a double knockout there. And yeah, so far we are doing okay. Let me go ahead and present Tandem Mouse, because again, this one has free retreats. That's why I'm using this one. It only has 30. I mean, even if you put the 40 HP Tandem Mouse, it won't really make a lot of difference, because yeah, again, you have a lot of matchups that can just easily knock out any type of Tandem Mouse. 30 or 40 HP doesn't really matter. So at least this one has free retreats, and it's just better pivot. So my opponent has Squawkabilly EX in the active spot. Let me just go ahead and retreat into Mimikyu. What I could do actually is just deal some damage to this Roaring Moon EX, because this is the one that they're starting to energize. And there's really not much else to do here. I can get a Zorua, thin out my deck. Okay. Alright, we're pretty much depleted at this point. We have 9 cards left in the deck. So I'll just use Ghost Eye to put 7 damage counters to this Roaring Moon EX. And if they manage to power it up, we can easily just knock it out with one of our single price Pokemon. And the only thing is, I could actually utilize Slowbro. I'll have to discard it, and after checking my discard pile and everything, we don't really have much choice. I know we have Zinnia's Resolve. We have 1 left in the deck, or it's prized or something like that, so we can't really discard it, because even if they manage to knock out our Mimikyu, all we have to do is wait until we have 1 prize left. We can use Slowbro to just get our last 2 prizes that way. But we still need to deal or still need to get 1 more prize to make that possible. They're gonna attack with Squawkabilly EX, but again, that will be negated thanks to Mimikyu's Safeguard ability, but that attack actually accelerates energy. So now they have 1 Roaring Moon EX fully energized, ready to attack. Okay, just checking how many more dark patches they have, and they still have a couple. So for now, I'm just going to use Ghost Eye, 7 damage counters to this Squawkabilly EX. And if they don't retreat it, we can actually knock it out with Maushold EX. No, they have 3. They have 1 more dark patch left in the deck. So if we manage to knock out their Roaring Moon EX, it's actually going to be difficult for them to accelerate more energies to their other Roaring Moon EX. They also have Brute Bonnet? Okay. So they can actually deal poison to our Mimikyu if they have Ancient Energy Booster. But that's gonna require a lot of turns before Mimikyu gets knocked out by poison. Especially they don't have Radiant Hisuian Sneasler to increase that poison damage, because they already have Radiant Greninja in this deck. Looks like they're transferring energies to their Brute Bonnet. I guess they don't have any other attackers to use against our Mimikyu, and they're just going with Brute Bonnet. Alright, so no more Pekko in this build, I guess. And we got Boss's Orders, look at that.
Well, you know what I could do? I could evolve into Maushold EX. And then, since my opponent can't really use Calamity Storm to knock out Maushold EX, we can safely attack with Maushold EX. And I can even put this Rigid Band to increase my defense. And they'll be forced to use Frenzied Gouging. And dealing 200 damage to themselves, we can knock it out with Mimikyu for a final knockout. So we get a knockout against their Squawkabilly EX, getting us 2 more prizes. Alright. We are not doing too bad at all. Not bad at all. So now it's my opponent's turn. He has a choice here. If he can energize this Roaring Moon EX, he can deal an instant knockout. Oh no! Medical Energy! Who puts that in their deck? That's new to me, man. 280 damage? Or 280 HP left. I mean... Well, alright. That kind of messes us up. I mean... He'll get 3 prizes, right? Or 2 prizes for knocking out Maushold EX. Mimikyu will not be able to knock out this Roaring Moon, because we're only dealing 70. Dude, we got a double turbo energy! Oh, okay. So we can actually just evolve into a Maushold EX and deal 100 damage, and we can just knock out this Roaring Moon EX for our final prize. There it is. Okay. There it is, guys. We actually won against this Roaring Moon EX matchup. Alright, it is winnable. I mean, they had a pretty slow start. I'll give it that, but hey, I'll take it, man. There you go. Maushold EX against Roaring Moon EX. Good game.
And that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to smash the like button for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching the Popsicleknight channel, and as always, stay safe and have a great day.